Hi, I'm Nathan Haney, and this is my Thriving Communities speech. To find out what community meant to me, I first started by looking at the different communities I belong to in my life. This list was pretty long, so I decided to choose 4 communities that represent my past pretty well, and I put their pictures up on the slide. The first image is of a mini golf course I worked at every summer for the past 4 years. I definitely think there's a community there. When you work with people that much and enjoy it, there's kind of bound to be. The second image is of the Chicago Cubs, which represents the countless sports teams I have both rooted for and been a part of in my life. And I mean, come on, look at the Bengals win this weekend. Of course, sports bring people together and build a community. The third image is, of course, Rupp Arena. This represents my newest community in the University of Kentucky. And well, you all experience this one every day, so I'm sure you see how interconnected this university is. Then to my oldest community, the city of Chicago, which I grew up just 20 minutes south of. With all the businesses and schools I've been to in the Chicago area, that's one community that I'm sure is always going to stick with me. I hope these 4 examples give you an insight into communities in my life. I've been in communities all shapes and sizes, from 12 workers to the third biggest city in America. When I really started thinking about these communities, I noticed they all had a couple things in common. All these communities were comprised of a group of individuals with a common characteristic or interest that benefit off the existence of one another. 2 words I really want you to focus on in the definition are common and benefit. Both of these words are an integral part of the definition, and you'll soon see why. Let's focus on that first word, common. A common value in a community is vital to the survival of it. However, don't just take my word for it. In a study at Penn State University, they found that good communities often need to share an emotional connection to be successful, and it's hard to relate to other people if you have nothing in common. That is why I stress that a community must share a common characteristic in my definition. This can be anything from rooting for a hometown sports team to participating in an online gaming community. There just needs to be something that people can bond over. Without a common interest, a community can struggle to identify its members, and therefore can't really exist without one. This common value is what separates a community apart from just regular groups of people. The second factor can best be explained by a quote from Andrew Carnegie. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Carnegie was a very wealthy businessman during the Industrial Revolution. So who better to talk about getting rich? He once said, "No man becomes rich unless he enriches others." And I think this is a vital part to a community, because if some members do not benefit from the community, they will not participate, and therefore the community just kind of die out. However, benefits can be seen in many different ways. It doesn't always have to be direct, like a teacher helping a student. It can be indirect, like how larger populations tend to have more resources so they can allocate them more efficiently. For example, I went to a high school with about 3,000 students. I never met everyone in that high school, but just by them all being there, we had so many teachers that they offered many opportunities to us that not other schools got. Like, I had over 20 AP tests available to me every year just because we had enough teachers to teach every subject. Now that I've gone in depth about the 2 main factors of my definition, I'd like to show you all in the real world. To make that easy, I'll be talking about the community that we are all a part of, the University of Kentucky. Let's start by looking at a common characteristic or interest in the UK community. One common characteristic we all share is that, of course, we all are attached to Lexington in some way. Most of us live here. We all spend the majority of our day here going to school. Or if you want to look at a common interest, we're all students that want to learn and eventually make money one day. I mean, we do have different majors, but our interests are still basically the same. And I'm sure you guys can see there's many more similarities among us. The list is endless if you really think about it, especially with all the clubs and extracurriculars here, because they're all little sub-communities in their own right. But I just tried to choose the most broad examples because I thought that would include the most people. But there's the first check. Now let's look at the second factor. I certainly think we benefit off each other. Tutors and teachers directly benefit students by teaching them new material that they can use later in life to get jobs and earn a living. And we even indirectly benefit from each other too. With the almost 30,000 students that the University of Kentucky has, UK can afford to give out more scholarship money and give more opportunities than most universities. This is purely because we have so many community members, which results in a lot of funding and resources. And with the second box checked, I hope you see why this definition describes community. Thank you.